Everything is connected. These are not some random words. This is a way of life, at least to me. This video isn't just about God of War, it also marks the beginning of my journey to experience rich stories like this until I mark my last day on earth. Getting to know such stories is an experience in itself. It's like viewing the world through the author's eyes, a different perspective from our own. And perspective is one of the most crucial things humanity should value. The ability to step out of our own skin and walk a mile in someone else's, even if that someone is a god slaying Spartan with the weight of his past etched into every segment of his body. Now, just a small context, I had finished God of War 2018 and Ragnarok back in 2024, both outstanding beyond words, which is still an understatement. I wanted to experience the OG series again, the Greek trilogy, the one that started it all. Growing up, I only played bits and pieces of those.
Played these games before!
Even though it's my favorite, I never really sat down and finished it. So, what better time to fully dive in than its 20th anniversary? I'll be honest, I had low hopes for the story direction, since these older games were gameplay heavy. But I was wrong. It doesn't just tell you a story, it unfolds it like a painful memory. This game shows you the end first. Kratos leaping from the tallest mountain, and then it takes us back 3 weeks from the fateful event, teasing us what led to that moment. The cutscenes here are layered carefully, building to that one singular devastating climax, the big bang of the storyline. That pacing, that direction, it was intentional, and it made me laugh at myself because somehow I never really understood how brilliant this story was until recently. The Fall.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me.
Kratos throwing himself off a cliff.
From the highest mountain in all of Greece.
Not in a battle, not in a blaze of glory, but in silence. Opposite as that of how a Spartan or any war junkie wants to go out. And here's where the storytelling brilliance shows. We're shown the cost first. Not the fight, not the victory, but the cost.
By the gods, what have I become?
We don't know why or how yet, but the game whispers it to us, not spelling it out too early. It's genius because it keeps us feeling even before we are knowing. And man, doesn't this remind you of life? Those quiet collapses where the world doesn't stop spinning, even if you do. The more you zoom out, the more you see how inconsequential you or me or this world is in this vast space. And you're left wondering, what's the point of all this? But worry not, we shall find our own answers throughout this journey, hopefully. The gods. Coming to the gods, we barely meet them in this game, except Ares, of course, the man of the hour, or god of the hour. Every god Kratos encounters just hands him new powers. Lord Poseidon, Aphrodite, Lord Zeus, Artemis, Lord Hades. Not out of generosity, but because they want him to finish Ares for them. Also, notice how he calls the goddesses by name and addresses the gods by Lord. Was this the norm back then, or is just Kratos being Kratos? Anyways, coming back to the point, gods wanted Ares dead.
Go forth in the name of Olympus.
Kratos wanted Ares dead. Perfect candidate, perfect puppet. Coming to Athena, protector of Athens, the city which was being attacked by Ares, her brother. She tells Kratos,
Your greatest challenge awaits in Athens, where even now my brother Ares lays siege.
throughout the game, she keeps ordering Kratos, do this, Kratos, do that. Never once,
Kratos,
do me. Disappointing. The gods dangle redemption like bait, and Kratos, desperate to forget what he's done, bites. Here's the clever part. You're never sure who's in control. Athena sounds like she's helping, but every help hides a missing piece of truth. Just like real life systems, only half truths, only half the story, or even a misguided one. And Kratos, he's willing to follow because forgetting sounds easier than forgiving himself. The language of Kratos. See the difference between our Greek Kratos and Norse Kratos, how his voice changes throughout the experiences he goes through.
Athena!
Greek Kratos was raw.
10 years, Athena. I have faithfully served the gods for 10 years.
His words were clipped, furious, impatient. There was no space for nuance, no room for softness, no room for holding back. Because back then, Kratos didn't have time for nuance. He wasn't interested in the cost, only the outcome. But with time, the voice drops lower,
Boy,
the words stretch out.
the water dropped and the serpent rose.
He talks less, listens more.
Can we go now? We're so close.
The pauses between them get heavier.
No. Something else.
It's not just age, it's weight. Everything Kratos does feels intentional. He doesn't waste moments, doesn't flinch, doesn't posture. Every word, every glance, every step has a reason behind it. Not because he's delicate, but because he's tired. He now knows the cost. He has learned a new language, restraint. The man who once screamed at gods now whispers to his son.
Carry her.
And somehow that feels louder. That switch from shouting to silence, from swinging wildly to choosing your moments. It's a language anyone who's lived enough learns to speak. We all start loud, and if we survive long enough, we get quiet. Not because the fire dies, but because you finally understand when it's worth burning. Haunted by memory. As we journey through the game, we start seeing memories. The memories creep in, soft, faded echoes. A wife, a daughter. The direction here is key again. These scenes aren't dumped on you like exposition. They haunt you, piece by piece, like ghosts catching up. We know something tragic happened, and slowly, horrifyingly, it's revealed. Kratos killed his family. Kratos didn't lose them by fate. He killed them by his own hands. Not by accident, but by design. And that shit broke me because guilt isn't something you recover from, it's something you carry. He had to carry this and also their ashes, which was etched onto his body, reminding him every second of his deeds. Throughout the rest of his life, his actions moving forward were, I think, understandable. So, to the people who said that the game was ruined because Kratos started showing emotions towards, well, it was always about. The root of all of this was this particular moment. It was always about family. Now, coming to the rarest moment in the whole of franchise, there's this one moment, rather than any in the whole series. Not gods, not monsters, not prophecies of doom. This. A smirk. Right before Kratos grabs a bleeding soldier, a man who probably promised his daughter he'd come home, and flings him into a writhing, blood-soaked meat cage. And Kratos, he smirks. Not villainy, not heroism, The kind of look you give your intrusive thoughts when you finally decide to listen. And it's beautiful because in that moment, in a world of gods and titans, betrayals and destinies, it's the most honest, pure thing you'll see. And for a split second, you kind of get it. Coming to, I think, the most fascinating scene in the whole game, the Gravedigger. There's this old man you meet in the middle of the game just digging. No grand introduction, no ominous music, just the weathered face, a shovel, and a grave. You don't realize why he is doing what he is doing until hours later when Kratos is betrayed, torn apart, dragged in the underworld, clawing to survive, and when he crawls back out of hell itself, that same grave, that same old man, Kratos, disbelief in his voice.
Who are you?
He isn't a god, he isn't a monster, he's a man. A man who knew this was coming because the grave, it was dug for Kratos. And it hits different because it means someone knew. Someone saw your fall coming before you did, like the universe had penciled you in for failure ages ago. But it's not just about fate, it's about inevitability. The Gravedigger represents the idea that no matter how far you run, how many gods you kill, or how loud you scream, someone or something has already prepared the hole you'll crawl out of. And it's not out of mercy, it's because the cycle demands it. A grim reminder that every grave has a name on it, and sometimes it's yours, even if you're not ready to lie down yet. And what makes it sinister is how normal the Gravedigger seems. No riddles, no warnings, just a man with a shovel doing his part in a story much bigger than him and much bigger than you. And then comes Ares, the only one who once reached out to Kratos, not to save him, but to use him, turn him into a monster, turned him into a tool. And when Kratos fights him, Ares taunts him, makes him fight illusions, makes him fight himself, and when Kratos shields his family from the monster he's become, you see the truth. It was never about the gods, it was never about vengeance. It was about trying to save the only good thing he ever had from himself. The aftermath. Ares falls, Athens crumbles, and Kratos, he gets an empty throne. Athena offers him the title of God of War. But it's no prize, it's a cage with a better view. Because the truth is, you don't get to walk away from people slash gods like them. You don't get to wipe your slate clean. You just swap one prison for another. Kratos thought killing Ares would set him free, that ending one puppet master meant no one else had the strings. But here's the trick. The illusion of control isn't when someone's pulling your strings. It's when you think you cut them all, but the knots are in your own hands now. He's the new god of war, sitting on a throne made of bad decisions and worse memories, crowned by the same gods who used him like a tool. You think you're free when you kill the puppet master? But what if you're just swapping strings? What if breaking the cycle is the cycle? This was never just about gods and monsters, it's about us. How we carry grief, how we bury guilt, how we let rage grab the wheel when we have got no idea where else to go. And in doing that, they mirrored something painfully human. We don't unravel ourselves all at once. We cling to things, we hate things, we crave things, and half the time we don't know why even. We learn slowly, some of us don't even learn at all. And maybe that's the point. Because the more you understand about yourself, the clearer the world becomes. And in stories like these, beneath the gods, the monsters, and the blood, you realize the scariest thing you'll ever face is you. If you're still here, thank you. This wasn't just a review, it was a reflection. A first time truly understanding this story. Not just knowing the events, but feeling the weight behind them. That's what stories like this gives us, not just entertainment, but an outlook of oneself and the world we live in. And if you enjoy this kind of breakdown where we talk about meaning, not just mechanics, please like and subscribe because this is just the beginning. And as I chase more stories, more truths, I will keep coming back to that one reminder: everything is connected.